Good afternoon, YouTube. Smell the way Jerk Page, aka the Emperor. Female Body Talk coming to you live on YouTube. Well, folks, can you believe it? We only have about 4 more days left of June, and it's officially summer. Summer is starting, folks. Summer is coming. Summer is here. Right now it's been kind of dry in the bodybuilding community for a bit. There's been shows, but no shows that have women's bodybuilding or even women's physique. There was one um, last weekend. This usually this around this time we have one of the used to be one of the bigger shows for it. Last week was supposed to have been the Puerto Rico Pro, but as you know, it's been dropped from the schedule, so we don't have that show anymore. But we might, maybe God willing, maybe whatever issues happen, we might have it back next year. So let's keep our fingers crossed. Also, this is something I want. It's gonna be on Sunday. Actually, not Sunday. Yeah, I think that the first is on the first Saturday or Sunday. I can't remember. But a year ago, I got to meet the lovely Shauna Boswell. It was like the week after she won I think the week or so after she won the Puerto Rico Pro. She came to Fayetteville. She did a seminar. It was hosted by Glenn from Amazon Fitness Magazine. I got to meet her, you talk to her, you need a little interview with her. Meet some amazing people. There come people, right? Not as amazing. Well, one person not as amazing, but the other one, it's kind of cool. But yeah, it was great things, and I enjoyed that. Got to meet, Olympia level competitor. So, folks, right here, we got my man here, the hand of the emperor, right here. I'm by my side. But folks, we got some news. I want the emperor to, the hand of the emperor to share us news for us. So I hope it's just news that he just dropped on me, and I want everybody else to know about it. So I give it to the hand of the emperor.
Yeah, as Harvey Dent said in The Dark Knight, you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And I want to go out dying as a hero and not devolve into basically the villain. And that is why I am announcing my official retirement from MTM, Muscle Talk Mondays. I'm just I've been thinking about it for a while, and I just my heart's just not in it anymore. Like, I mean, I used to be able to do it all the time, like crazy, like when I worked an overnight schedule. But now that I got a daytime shift, it's much harder to do these Monday, always a specific time on a Monday, and getting the research and everything else every week. It's we've been doing this like 3 years straight now, or something like that. I'm just I've been thinking about maybe going into the podcast business, a podcast specifically about women's bodybuilding, which is very lacking. I know that there's at least one in German that's specifically about female bodybuilding, but again, I don't speak German, so one in English, basically.
Well, like I said, I enjoy these years I had with my man here. I'm calling by his real name, Jared. And I appreciate him. I mean, he reached out to me a couple years back because he was listening to my Muscle Talk Mondays originally. And then he wanted to come on, and he always had great information to share with them. People may have problems with him, but he was consistent. That's why I liked him. Show him, and also great fan of women's bodybuilding. He educated me on some stuff I might not know. I educated him on stuff he didn't know. And I do appreciate it. I wish him the best because you know what? And to me, I'd rather see the villain. I had the wrong guy here. I should have used the other guy. So I'm going to stay here and I'm going to become the villain. I'm going to become the best. I'm going to become a particular type of criminal that you really fond of. But he's always welcome to come back. Always dropping information to we have some shows coming up. So if you ever we can, I got probably range it to fit with his status every now and then. Most definitely because we got some shows. Yeah, I can bring it.
Maybe I can come in as a guest maybe in a couple months or whenever.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Like,
I really want to like maybe try to get started on maybe like a podcast. I feel like that's a better reign for me, much more structured. Just I don't know. I feel like the 1 hour format every week is just not cutting it for me.
mm-hmm,
Just simply because I feel I'm much more scripted and like drawn out and highly detailed,
mm-hmm. Yeah,
point over detailed.
yeah, you have a set plan you want to go. Me, I like to work off the cuff. I don't have a set plan, but I respect that about you, and I wish you all the best. So maybe you get the opportunity, you get to be the next big thing for women's bodybuilding. So anyway, folks, like I said, it's been kind of quiet. Good bit in bodybuilding. Not much is going on. A few shows here and there. Mostly other divisions. But we've been talking about subjects that's kind of like need to be spoken on, and that's most definitely we do need something that really help bodybuilding out. It's for the past few years, bodybuilding's been a struggle. You know, not enough opportunities, shows, not enough mainstream attention for the sport because the fact is it's considered a fringe sport. It did pretty good in a good part of, I would say, the mid to early '90s when there was like, a lot of people were watching it because of the popularity of certain like celebrities like Schwarzenegger, Stallone, the big action stars of those days. But now, in the past few years, it's kind of been waning off some. Some people say that what can be done? I don't know. And I just want to reach out to my followers, my fans, who have the thoughts what could be done for bodybuilding in general, not just women bodybuilding, but also for the whole sport of bodybuilding. We got here J Warrior 1000, Mikhail the Wanderer be on the panel. Well, he's always welcome guest, or just like I said, I just solo for a long time for your first year or so, and then and Jen came along, and when I don't have problems having guests come on. Like, if I've reached out to some ladies in sport, whoever want to come on, and we can do a Must Talk Monday every now and then. And like I say, but he's still welcome as a guest. Okay, we got this also from JW says, early predictions of both your opinions. Who are the female athletes at the Miss Olympia women's bodybuilder that will place in the top 5 finalists this year? Well, like I said, it's still early. That's the problem because we don't have all the names. Now, most definitely, I know without a doubt, um, Andrea is going to win. I mean, it all depends on how other girls come in. Even if Andrea is even a slight off, she still comes in great condition.
So,
You know,
so I got three names. So it's going to be Andrea, um, Angela Yao, Ella Trevina. The last two, that really depends on like who's qualified at that point. Like you're getting into like um, I don't know territory at that point.
yeah, the big problem is like one thing is out. Like I said, you got Hella, but I don't know. Hella, she squeaked bad the last time. Be honest with you, because I
You think
still
she's not
felt
going to make the top five?
she'll make top 5, but not the top 3. That's the good qualification. She could probably make top 5, but I doubt she makes top 3. Yeah, remember now, top 3 is qualification for the next year's Olympia. Top 5, you just get the bottom 2 just get a little prize money. Because what they did. This is what they did. I don't know why they did, because they dropped. Was it a couple years ago? They changed it from top 5 competitors to top 3 competitors. So except for I think a men's open and 212. Everybody else is top 3, and
I mean,
then
that made sense back when there was weight divisions because the top three was the top five of the time. So but now it just doesn't make any sense.
well, it's just what it is. You're simply supposed to cut down the numbers of competitors, but you got to think about it. Okay, so you don't have 2 people coming back to qualify. So that to me, it never makes sense why they did that, especially for women's bodybuilding, because what it does is, now that they don't have points qualification, it cuts the numbers down. Okay, yeah, remember, you have the top 3 competitors that already qualified. That means that everybody else has to win a show. So you have Sherry just won the Vancouver Island show. You have Natalia's won the New York Pro. You have, Juliet won the Toronto. Now, only ones you have left out of that is okay. Coming up is Portugal, Chicago, Atlanta, Tampa, uh, the
Masters.
the Master Show, and the Europa Show. That's six. So you already got so you got pretty much 12 women competing in women's bodybuilding. So hoping no one does another show, will cut down to 10 to 11. Okay. So if they had left it the top five like they did before, I think Marjorie was on her way out anyway. So, and I think Bronca would have if Bronca was qualified to be in the top five, I think Bronca would, because I follow Bronca, I've talked to her even now and then on social media. I think she would have competed because she wouldn't have to do any shows. She just sit back and just focus on the Olympia. So with so that will leave at least, but with some shows like you don't have Atlanta this year, don't have Puerto Rico, got kicked out of Omaha and Brazil, and you also just can't forget don't have Indy. That cut down the numbers. And instead again, the is Olympic qualifier, but as long as Andrew competing that show or any other competitor who already qualified for the Olympia, it doesn't really count. It's like the guy who any of the guys who win the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic. Usually, the guy who competes there is usually a guy who's already qualified the Olympia or somebody who already qualified by winning the show. I remember last year. I think that guy Blessing. I think he won it last year, and he was already qualified because he won at the Indie Show Awards in New York. It's one of those two he won, but because there's so few shows. Yeah, so because I forgot you were there. You were in New York. So few opportunities. Right here is JW saying, well, here is my list: Andrea Shaw, Angela Yao, Hel Trevino, Christina Mendoza, Natalia Kobaleva, and Sherry Rami. Those are the top five in my opinion. That's a possibility. He says top six. There's no point in the top six because the fact is, again, really top five is enough. But really, the focus is the top three, the ones who are going to come back. Now, this is one thing I think Jake should do, especially he's the guy who's over wins bodybuilding. He runs the Olympia. Jake, I gotta say it for you. Jake, I want that money. I want that gun. So I can't help it. Every time I hear Jake's name, he can go to most definitely to Jim Mannion and say, hey Jim, why not we make top five qualification for women's bodybuilding like with men's bodybuilding? Because that's one of the older divisions. Your men's bodybuilding and women's bodybuilding. Other than fitness, it's one of the few divisions that has the fewer shows. With fitness, because we usually have fewer shows because not all of them want to do is jump around and chicken sweat and sweating and jumping and all that aerobic stuff. Eventually, I feel like they might just go ahead. Truthfully, just close down fitness and make it just merge it with figure. Because some of those women are not that far from some of the figure competitors. Especially look at Misty Trescott or someone like Erica Deer. They have just much more density as some figure competitors, even some physique competitors, just about. But this is where we talk about how if bodybuilding was a little more popular in general, in which the money can spin off to other divisions, especially we all know the main division is men. Now I was on I posted on my other IG. I have another IG, and I posted some comments. You can pull it up here. Because I have two IGs. I have an old one I had a long time ago. I usually it's on my computer, and I can't, get it to my phone because I forgot the password. I tell me to use the old password, but I forgot the old password. I need to, I try to say things, say, hey, can I get a way you can help me? But forget it. So it's something I posted, and I posted on my old and my new one that, the other one, because this is the one I usually can send stuff back and forth between two IGs. So if I find something on the computer, I can send it to the IG, I can fix it on the phone. So I post this, and someone responded. Shout out to, he's a great guy. He's a fan of women's bodybuilding. He does interviews just like I do. Well, not as bad. He's been around. Just I've been around a little longer, but he's been doing interviews for a bit. He's a big fan. He's traveled a little bit, and that's from Dave from Female Bodybuilding Forum. He posted on this. Excuse me. Oh, Scott. I'm going to post it. Pull it up. He says this. He made a comment. Says we need a good scandal, and I responded saying there are plenty of scandals. And he says we need a TMZ size scandal. Well, Dave, here the thing is, if the situation with the Manions is not a TMZ level scandal, I don't know what is. Deaths of bodybuilders, that's not a scandal. I mean, it's just more than just a scandal. Because, there have been so many scandals, steroid use, bodybuilders dying. Now the whole thing with the Manion family. My man, Jim, we did a whole thing. We talked about the whole Manion situation. You know, is that not enough scandals? But the problem is, like I said, the sport is not popular enough for mainstream. There's so much that can be done, but it's up to what it is. If one thing, it has to be more feasibly financially interest for it by mainstream companies. Like you look at something like the UFC. It's a different type of combat sports. When it first came out, a lot of guys like myself, when I was younger, I was a big boxing fan. Grew up, watching boxing with my life. Grew up in the tail end of the Ali era. Grew up in the good part of the Tyson era. Before Mayweather, Roy Jones. I watched those guys fight. I didn't like MMA at first. I often there was one fighter called it gay sex. But I ever since I met my man Coach, I've watched some stuff. There was a fight over the weekend that I watched on it's on television, regular television. I don't watch kids that much. It's just that it's gotten popular because it touches a certain class of people. People like violence, and that's why football's popular. Even though you see people hitting each other. Baseball is not popular. The fact is that it's sport's not exciting anymore. Excitement has weaned in the last 50, 60 years because it was your grandpa's sport or your dad's sport.
It reminds me of that one Simpsons episode where Homer basically couldn't be drinking for like an entire day, and he's at the baseball game and he sees everybody else around him is drinking beer, and then Homer just comments, I never realized just how boring this game actually is.
Yeah, right now we had one Simpsons while because they had the writer strike, so no new episodes of Simpsons out on there. You not even so many reruns, but yeah, it's just I used to like baseball when I was younger, but I kind of one of my oldest nephews still watches it, but I don't really watch it. Basketball, I don't watch that much either. I'm not been really a big sports guy. I might look at it now and then. Football, ever since I missed with Colin Kaepernick, what he did to him, I really don't really have a lot of respect for the game. But it's just that what bodybuilding need is one thing. I think if to make it more feasible is they may have to cut the more muscular divisions. And this is breaking down. The first is most definitely you may have to drop women's bodybuilding, physique, and figure. And also, they might have to drop men's bodybuilding and 212. That's I know those men's bodybuilding as I said again, it's the bottom bitch. But the fact is, it's just not humanly natural for men to be that big. Divisions that will probably do well, that could survive, would be men's classic because it's a throwback. So, like back to the days of Arnold Schwarzenegger's, Frank Zane's, a classic look. And men's physique because it's more of a table look. It's more like pretty boys, beach boy type guys. Guys that wearing board shorts. They have great upper bodies. Not too much focus on the legs because they just have that look that's a little bit more attainable. And the female division is going to be mostly bikini and wellness because instead again there's a TA division. Fitness might even get pushed out. Because it's just, we got here my friend of me, a man came up seen the crime as usual.
Yeah, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up?
All right.
You got your forehead out here.
Yeah, I know. My bad. I'm sorry about that. I'm trying to use.
Don't apologize. You don't need to apologize. Stop apologizing.
I just got up. I just got up.
You should stay asleep then.
Nah, I just. Oh, you got jokes, huh?
Yeah, I got jokes. Yeah. Anyway, we got here. Somebody's coming through. There's some man. Bulls deep. He says, "What up and salute." You know, Bulls deep. How you doing? He says, "Smash that like button." Also, he says, "Chicago in here." Yeah. Shout out to Chicago. Also, peace and blessings to the chat. You know, and also then we have here. You know, this is answer to you, Ballsy, from W to JW on 1000. Ballsy, what's your predictions on the top five Miss Olympia finalists in women's physique? As I said again, you know, so Ballsy, if you want to put your prediction, you know, you put it into the comment section. I'll send it out. But fact is, like I said again, I'm not going to make no predictions because the fact is we don't have all the competitors yet. Most definitely, I feel like most definitely top two are going to be. I feel like it's going to be Angela and Andrea, and after that, anybody whoever's going to make the next six shows after that, I'm gonna see. I'm gonna have a prediction, but it's going to be a very small lineup. How I feel like this. I mean, it's going to be nearly half the competitors there because top five, and like I say, really top three is real important because the fact is those are the three that qualify for the Olympia for next year. I mean, everybody still goes top five. I know it's usually what they usually do, but you really should think about the top three because everybody else after that, after the third, after three, don't really count too much because they're just going to get some prize money. So, man, KL's here, and shout out to him. Um,
Yes.
what's your thoughts that bodybuilder would need to get to be more attention, like to bring more of an audience, especially as a fan?
Hmm. I have no idea.
So you come on here and you don't listen to us. Okay, so skip it. So, so
Nah,
yeah.
I really don't, cause cause it's a tough question because, like you said, like a lot of people that I've interviewed, or from even it's not really, it's not a recognizable sport. It's not like the NBA, how they promote it, or how other like entities promote the NBA or the NFL, or I don't even be watching NFL, NBA, or the NFL like that. I watch a little bit of basketball, but I mean, for bodybuilding, I don't know, man. Like I would say like maybe the bodybuilders have to market their face, market them.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah, like, nah, go
yeah.
ahead.
No, you what to say?
Nah, that was it. Like they just probably need to like find a way to market themselves, like do things like and this is what stuff people were saying, but it makes sense. Cause I mean, because they could to like promote food, or do maybe a little exotic. Nah, I don't want to promote that too much, but
Yeah,
like
you got.
do do stuff that like mainstream people would accept. Maybe they could be in a movie, or I don't know, something like that. You know,
Yeah, that's good points. But the problem is, like I said, most of the times the mainstream stuff will not accept the women as much as they accept the men. And
yeah,
and like I said, it's hard to get any businesses who want to use, like, other than maybe for comic reasons, or like, remember there was that Bud Light commercial where the guy was in Vegas and he was about to marry a female bodybuilder, or that was a Joe Crab Shack, the one with Betty Pariso. And the guy, her and Betty Pariso were sitting in the chair. She's like flexing, they're out on a date. It's hard to get any of these mainstream companies that might want to be interested in hiring. One thing I kept saying this. I think, yes, like, put the faces out there. Like, most definitely, if and Andrea can do, like, I've said it before. I think I said it to other people too. If Andrea can do, like, some interviews and stuff, if marketing. I know Jake, you have a big marketing. You have the money. You can put Andrea out there. Reach out to these big companies, like these big news companies, like CBS News, ABC News, CBS Morning, Today's Show. I mean, you got these talk shows, like you have Ellen's gone, but you still have something like Kelly Clarkson. You still have Tamara. You have Sherry what's her face? She has her show. I mean, she had I think what about Sherry Shepherd? She had Jay Cargill on there a while back. I mean, something like that. I mean, a lot of I think some ladies overseas, like in Germany, might do some stuff every now and then. I've seen some stuff with I remember Sherry Priyama. She did an interview for a news company, her local in a town, and so did Natalia Cuejo. We got here from my man Jay Warrior 1000. Says, "How is it that bikini and wellness divisions are more popular than the more muscular ladies in the other divisions? What is the appeal of those two divisions, especially that surpasses the others? Do I have to explain that to you? Yeah, because I know Jay Warrior, you're a bodybuilding fan, but for the mainstream, like I said, did an interview with Dr. Christina. It's more attainable look in those divisions like bikini, especially wellness. Even though it takes a little more work in wellness because you got to build in the lower half and the quads. I mean, that's a tough part right there. But with bikini, it's more of a look that's more. That's why back in the day they didn't have bikini till about I think until about the early 2000s. It came into the early 2000s. Originally, you only had men's bodybuilding. You had um, women's bodybuilding fitness, and then because the way fitness was, like I remember when we did it, we had that. Remember, Kid, we were talking with Lada. I just said that because the women in fitness were either you know, didn't want to do all the gymnastics stuff that we're doing in fitness. They changed the criteria because it used to be like almost like CrossFit originally, but they changed the criteria to more gymnastic, leaping, and jumping. And some of the women didn't have the skill set for it. Some they had athletic backgrounds, but because of the mass muscle they had gained over years, they couldn't do it. So that's why they created figure. And figure was supposed to be the more feminine looking side of it, but then that division evolved because they wanted a division that's more attainable for the women who are like, I'm too small for that. I don't want to be that big. I still want to look more feminine, and they didn't create, figure. I mean, bikini, it was pulled in because originally it was more popular like in companies like, was it Tropicana used to have bikini contests. It was who else? What's his name? What's the Hooters used to have bikini contests, and it used to be very, very popular. Around especially summertime. Like you go to Fort Lauderdale, you have bikini contests, and girls were competing to get some beer money or try to make it back home because they spent their money or down in Florida. But it was brought in because it was a more attainable look. If you look at some of the bikini girls, they still got a good amount of muscle definition, but not as much compared to women's bodybuilding physique competitors or even the figure in fitness girls.
Yeah. So I got one suggestion that was brought up yet. Why is it that props and costumes and stuff can't be brought back to bodybuilding? They used to be have it in the past, so why not just bring that back to just spice things up a bit?
Well, I think they probably saw it too much as a freak show. Too much of close to a fetish thing. Because a lot of ladies, if you follow on social media, especially those ladies who have like OnlyFans, does other online stuff, they do a lot of costume stuff. They do like that, and I think that's why they stopped doing it. Because I remember they was doing it for a while. Because I remember was it Helen uh, Birkinshaw. She dressed up in the soldier thing. She was Captain Jack, and she stripped it out. You remember Helen, Birkinshaw? She Canadian bodybuilder. She used to be former military, amazing body, great physique, and I think they took that out because they felt like it was too much of a, I don't know, a fetish freak show thing. Because remember that one with remember that Denise Messina where that kind of like look, it was a kind of fetish face mask with the spikes and stuff on it. And this is what
Ain't
somebody
got
told
no.
me.
No,
Hmm?
I was just saying it don't got no wings.
Well, yeah, because I think what it was, I remember somebody telling me that year she could have won Miss Olympia because that was still when she had the lightweight class. It was between her and Diane Cadeau for the title. and they wanted Denise because Denise had a great look to her. Denise was the one who really. I think a lot of women got bigger breasts because of Denise Messina. Because if you go back today, some women got breast implants. They were not too big, but Denise had a great look to her, very exotic looking. She was Puerto Rican. Had a great look to her. One thing was her breasts were really large. I mean, she had a couple of nipple slips in a couple of contests, but she had a look to her that I think was very more aesthetically pleasing. She's very attractive. Even today, she's in her early 50s and still looks beautiful. She doesn't look decent. She can come back and compete if she wants, but she has some issues because she has scoliosis. Her balls are back real bad. But because of that, Denise, didn't win the Olympia. They gave the lightweight title to Dad Cadeau. And Dad Cadeau didn't beat Iris Kyle for the overall title. Some felt like if Denise didn't do that, wear that mask thing, doing her routine, and just came out like she was, they probably would give the title to her because she had a look that you like. She was a little bit more feminine, great amount of muscle. She would be the Miss Olympia they would have pushed. But they could do that, but they're not going to do it. That's why they do it. That's why they do it in the fitness girls do it because that's part of their routine. You see, like Erica did. She do like when she was at the last Arnold Schwarzenegger class. She did the whole Terminator thing. Was it Mrs. Trescott? She dressed up like a shark one time, and she dressed up like a bird. One girl, Asanka, she's a Russian legend. She competed in Olympia, and she did Joker. There's actually, I think somebody told me, one lady who told me, said, George, you should put that Oksana as a Joker as your symbol. I said, if I can find that, I might do it, but I already got mine, so I'll stick with it. I might pull it someplace else. But
why don't they just stick to superheroes and stuff like that? Maybe it'd be more simpler.
Well, it would be, but then some might not. Some ladies don't like superheroes like that. Some don't follow them.
Right.
They might do. Some might do it, but some might not. Some might have certain styles they want to do. Some might do more artistically, Some might do like there might be a female bodybuilder want to do like Black Swan. Remember the movie Black Swan, where with
Black Swan.
Yeah, it's like with Natalie Portman. She played her and Ashton Kutcher's wife. They played like two competing ballerinas. Just
okay.
And I think I've seen a fitness woman did the Black Swan thing because it's. Let me see if I can find it and I'll pull it real quick. But it's all about what they feel is not too gaudy, to overly sexualized. As that's one thing about female bodybuilders. They don't want them to be too overly sexualized. But like I remember.
So what does that mean? Like, I mean, what's overly sexualized? Because like if you go to OnlyFans, you seeing clicks. I'm telling you, man. Like I know not everybody is like that, but they kind of display themselves as well. So I mean, like, what is that? Like, what do you mean by that overly sexualized? Because I don't get it.
It's kind of like walking a fine line between you admire who they are physically, but then sometimes some people take it to the extreme. Like guys might be too much in it. They look past the woman the woman that is, but just look at it as a sexual object. And yes, as men, we do find women appealing and sexual. That's all it is. But some guys will take it to a certain extent. And that's why I remember how when I was doing some of my videos, like my comparison videos, I remember one lady told me in the comment section, said, George, I like your video because it doesn't overly sexualize. I don't go into too much details like about their bodies or that this, about that. I talk about them as a whole, as a person. I tell a story. But also, yes, I mentioned the physiques. Like I talk about, wow, she has great glutes, she has a great back, she has killer abs, she has good biceps. But I don't go into details where I say, well, she got great glutes. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to. That's what sometimes women they don't want to feel like they're too much of a sexual object. They understand the aspects there is sexual aspects to bodybuilding, but they don't want to be considered. It's like walking a fine line between, like I said again, don't be that guy or just being a fan. I'm gonna pull this up. Like I say, you asked about the. I think you might have heard the movie Back Swan. I'll pull it real quick. Yeah, it's Natalie Portman right there, And that's what I mean.
Okay.
I've seen a competitor wear that kind of makeup for, especially if it was a fitness girl. I mean, I probably saw it when I was like doing some search and stuff like that, and that movie came out like about was it a 7, 8 years ago? Marilyn won an Oscar for that role. You know, but yeah, that's what I mean. That's something like somebody might wear like something like that. You might see competitor that might be cool if one if your bodybuilders do it, but
Yeah, that looked nice. That looked
yeah, it
nice.
was nice. Yeah, yeah. But anyway, here we get here from my man JW. He says this. That's unfortunate truth about why bikini wellness. I guess it is what it is. Yeah, and there's not much you can do about it because, but even those divisions are not like too much because, well, one thing with some of the bikini girls and the wellness girls, they can get sponsors a lot faster because they have a look that That's why if you ever go to some sites where it's selling apparel, any kind of product, they use mostly bikini girls. So you rarely ever see any. You might see a few like Yamamoto or Wings of Strength. They will use female bodybuilder because they especially Wings of Strength, it's a big promoter of women's bodybuilding. But many others like Redcon, I think I'm trying to figure who else. Who else? There's other companies that do whey powder stuff like that, and the Redcon's one that comes off my head, and a couple others that mostly use the girls that look like they can really sell the product off of. Even though the ladies do use these products, they won't use them because you don't want to look somebody like. Imagine if you use somebody like now, Andrew Shaw, she's sponsored by a company, Mutation. But Andrew has a very feminine, very attractive look. Hella, she's with Yamamoto. So is Savamate and a couple others I can think of. I can't think of off my head. But generally,
Mm.
most of these companies would rather use more feminine looking women who don't have even the off season week ladies. They get a little soft and feminine. Like they still don't want to use them because they don't like the look.
So how do they get like? How do they like beat the obstacle?
Well, one thing is that they have to either cut back on change the criteria for bodybuilding, let the ladies come in a lot softer, or like I said, most definitely you might have to drop certain divisions. Like I said again, women's bodybuilding, physique, and even fitness has to be dropped because even you look at fitness now, those women get to the level where they look like how female body how physique started. They look more like I won't say Daniel Bailey. They look more closer to Judy McCarr, who is who had the most Miss Olympia titles is in physique. Judy McCarr had 4 titles. I think Daly only had one because she was so popular back then because she had a great look to her. She was a little bit more soft and feminine, bit. But Judy came in, she had a better look, good amount of muscle. She, or someone like I remember who was talking about. I remember with your interview with Miss Eva, with Eva Guzman, how she mentioned,
Yeah,
Shanique Grant, and Shanique
I didn't
had a,
even know who that was.
what, that's why I said that's why I reached out to her because she likes to have somebody who's a little more knowledgeable.
No, I'm not. I'm not mad at you. Like, I
I know,
mean, that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. I'm like, that's why I mentioned her to you. It's not
yeah,
like, cause she
I
was
know.
like, she was kind of like your counterpart. Like, she was like talking a lot, and then she mentioned some names that I'm not even really like familiar with like that. So I was like, you know,
I know, but the
did
thing,
she get back to you?
yes, yeah, I mean, we'll have some by this week, but yeah,
All right,
but
that's good.
that's good. I appreciate that. Because but like I said, the thing is, that's why you always it's good to get education with somebody that teaches and stuff. But the thing is, they want the look. That's why they created physique to be the look to replace women's bodybuilding. But the thing is, like any sport, it's evolving. It's about evolution, and that's the problem. These athletes are going to evolve. They're going to change, and that's the thing about bodybuilding. You can't pigeonhole. Like you got to think about it. They created like divisions like men's physique because the guys in men's bodybuilding were getting too big. They created guys like 212 because the 212 guys were too small to compete with the bigger guys in open. They created class elite because they want a throwback division to earlier bodybuilding. And and even with women's side, they created fitness because the women in bodybuilding they felt like they were too small for bodybuilding. They wanted a division their footwear, and then they created figure because those girls in figure didn't like how. Remember when Lala said that they didn't like doing all the aerobic stuff, all the gymnastic stuff, and fitness then. But then because those women were getting big and more closer to women's bodybuilding, the women were too small for figure, but didn't want to do fitness, and they were too big for figure, didn't want to do fitness, and too small for bodybuilding. They created physique, and with bikini, they brought that in to bring in revenue because it was all year round, and with wellness because it was a very popular division over in countries like Brazil, and it brought it here in the States. It's about what works for that division for that overall for the sport at that time. They had to grow and create more divisions because the athletes were changing and evolving. Same thing with like any mainstream sport. You look back at their football. Before then, they used to play with no helmets on. Then they get the leather helmets. Then they get the helmets they got now. And so on and so on. Now you ever watch practice when they have practice of football games? They have the protectors for the helmets because of concussion issues.
Right.
Even though the sport has changed, it's still making its money because the fact is it's changing with the times. The problem with bodybuilding, it's changing with time, but the fact is people still have their idea of what how people should look. Now, one thing like you look at like you do interviews with ladies from the OCB, which is kind of natural bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Even though it's a little bit not as controversial compared to bodybuilding, it's not as popular because it doesn't grab a lot of attention. Like
Right.
if you look at some of those natural bodybuilders, it look more like some of these natural bodybuilders. Like okay, like I know a lady, she her name is Kelly. She competes in natural bodybuilding. She has an amazing physique, a great body. She just competed a couple of shows. She won some money. She's I think a pro level in her in her class, but in her organization. But she has the potential that she could do well in NPC. She might even become a pro because she has a very more softer feminine look.
So
That's
nowadays
probably
they promote those women like those women like that. Every like once in a while I see women like that, but they don't. It's not often though.
well because it's
Like
not
you
as
see,
well. It's not as deep. You get me. One thing is because they have deeper pockets. Because you remember Joe Weider, Joe and Ben Weider, they started this thing years ago,
is he
and they
still
had
alive?
both the Weider brothers are dead.
No,
Yeah, they're
Oh,
both dead.
okay. All
I
right.
think Joe's been dead for about at least about 8 years, and I think Ben's been dead for about nearly 10.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I think his Joe's wife Betty might be still alive. I think she's close to 90 now, and I think Ben has a son, but pretty much the family, the business is run by the Mannion family. The Manions have deep, they have connections, deep pockets. That's why that division does pretty well, such because of their resources. The other organizations, they're not as well known, don't have the deep pockets. Even though bodybuilding is still small sport, it still is about who was behind me at the time. Back then, you had Joe Weider. They were selling products here and there, use his name, use his image. They have somebody to work off. It's like the Vincent Lombardi Trophy. You ever go to Super Bowl, they have the Vincent Lombardi Trophy because pretty much even though he didn't start football, he was one of the most popular you know figures in the sport back in the day. We got here a man JW saying Shanique Grant had that hourglass structure and that impossible small waist that won back Miss O in 2018, 2019. Yeah, she did. She had the look that I think he wanted because she was a figure competitor like Natalia Cuejo. But then in 2020, what happened? They went with Sarah Vilgas. And that was a big talk about like, okay, this chick, even though, if you ever seen Sarah's physique, she has a nice physique. But you know, she's her look is not as if you put Sarah comparing Sarah to Daylin, Julia, and Shanique, she's not as overly pleasing. is I would say physically attractive, and that's going to be honest. She has an amazing body. I'm gonna say, but she has that. How the best way to say it? She has that fugly girl look. This is true. I'm gonna be honest. She has that look like She has that look like she's that. You have that one friend. She's kind of cute if she
You
wears the right clothes and everything's
you
put
saying
together.
Sarah Vegas?
Yeah, Sarah Vegas. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because she kind of like if in the right clothes and like that, she looks all right. But when she's just out and about, she's not that very, and that's how it is. With Sarah's dressed up, she's to the nines. She looks great, but she has that kind of,
She's not pretty enough. If you try to say.
that's the fair way of saying it. She has a great physique. She has a great body. She's just not as like as and I would say the same thing about Natalia. Natalia, you know, she has a great body, great physique, but she's not as visually pleasing. She has that. I remember how somebody said she has a Jay Leno chin, but they went with certain judges. That's why I say judges got a lot of control. They went with a certain way. you know. But if you look at now, you get someone like Andrea. Andrea is beautiful. She's all shockingly beautiful. Now, Andrea looks all right. She has that more that goth girl look to her. Hella, Ella's all right, but it's just about what sells, and looks do sell. You buy a product because you like, especially if somebody's selling it. If you go, you watch TV. These are these advertisements and these industry people work. They put something on there that draws people in, and people be attracted to it. And they might say, okay, you see a product, you like remember the old commercials? They selling like a beer. They always have pretty girls in swimming suits or cheerleader outfits like that. You drink beer, but your dad drink beer, or your brother drink beer, your uncles drink beer. I never been much of a beer drinker myself, but
Okay, fine. Oh, now go ahead.
mhm. but it draws you in. And that thing is, bodybuilder needs something to draw people in. If they could put out the people who are very more attractive, someone like if Brooke Walker had won the title. Brooke's a very attractive woman. She has that great, more Nick's, all American girl look,
Yeah.
blonde hair, great physique, very more pleasing in the face. You know, if you have okay, let's say we're gonna do a thing. We have a tour, all the Olympia winners. You can have the guys, because the guys, guys like Chris Bumstead, he's a handsome looking guy. You know, he's very popular in sport. You know, Heidi Chopin, he has that suave, Middle Eastern look to him. And you also look at somebody, Missy, if you see the cover, I have Missy Trescott. I picked Missy because Missy has more of, I should have put C.D. Gillen up there too, but I didn't have enough room for all the pictures. So, like someone like Sid, Missy, and Andrea have very more steadily pleasing look, especially for the higher end divisions of muscle. But then with most definitely with bikini girls, they're all going to be attractive women. You rarely ever see any women in bikini that don't look as attractive. And that's the thing is about when bodybuilding, certain women are not as pleasing on the eye compared to others. Like you might have someone like Teresa Vasic, you might have Chelsea Dion, Mila Ash, Sheena Oleg, who else got to think of? A couple others, I'm in the back of my head, but some are a little bit, great physiques, great bodies, you know, attractive in their own right, but still not as pleasing to the everyday, John
Person.
Q. public. Yeah, this is a man from my man Jay Warrior. Although I'm not a fan of Sarah Vegas, it will be a close battle. Yeah, it could be if Sarah can really bring in conditioning. But if Brooke comes in and she has great conditioning, overall look, and just say, you know what, we want a Miss Physique that has what we have, the conditioning, but also a great feature that can sell, Brooke can win it. I think the tag came in because Brooke was off and because Sarah's fault. Because I think somebody told me, Sarah was told she needed to come in a little more softer. That's what happened to Iris Kyle back in 2005 when she lost the title to Young King. She came in real soft, and Young came in shredded, and she won. So sometimes it's best not always to listen to what the judges tell you. Also, we have here from a man JW says this. Sarah Vickers is not pretty. Basically, I think she's average. The tag career, exotic and stunning personality. Personality. That's what you said. Yeah, she has but she, come on, admit it. She has a chin like the tick from your cartoon show. Yeah. So, gentlemen, like I said again, what is we, the fans, the public, what we want to see for bodybuilder to grow? What we want to see?
Won't they just put them like go ahead.
Go ahead, Hannah the Emperor.
Yeah, really nothing more we can do than really just supporting the sport as best we can financially and advocating for it. And other than that, I mean, a lot of this is pretty much out of our hands, basically.
Mr. The Wanderer.
Nah, I always had this thought about maybe they need to put like somebody like in a reality show or something. Like it could be like the Bachelorette and stuff. Like who wants to date a bodybuilder or something? Because it would always come to my mind like maybe they need to do something a little exotic to put it a little bit on mainstream or something. Who knows? I don't know. I'm just
Well,
talking, but.
well, if you use it for male bodybuilder, it probably won't be too hard to find someone who might be interested. But there's always that rumor stigma about male bodybuilders. But female bodybuilders, it's going to be way harder to put someone like that be the Bachelorette. You have to
I
use
mean,
either.
but like you said, the names like Brooke Walker, what's her name, the goat, Andrea Shaw, something like that, like a pretty face, or it don't even have to be. It could be like somewhere to the level of bikini or wellness or something like that.
Yeah, you
You
probably
know?
use the bikini wellness girls a lot easier. But most
Yeah.
definitely, you probably won't use a female bodybuilder, even though Brooke and
I
Jeff are
mean,
beautiful women.
yeah, I mean, it
Yeah.
don't matter. I mean, like, it's all bodybuilding. Like, I know to your standard, it's not bodybuilding, but I would say it's a door open, for that. I mean, look at like Corey Everson, how she looked. I mean, she wasn't even that as big as women today, but she kind of had like a marketable. Well, at the time they probably didn't look at her too marketable, but she had a pretty face and had a nice physique.
hmm
So
Same thing with Richard McLesh, but as you know, the market is gonna go based by what the everyday John Q public wants. They want women who are not too that might be bigger than them. They want women who have the softer, more feminine look. It's just
yeah, I know that.
it's always going to be subjective. It's just
Yeah,
But like I said, if I don't know, if one thing is, I remember I was talking with somebody, my man Big Keith, shout out to my man Big Keith, who's doing well. Shout out to my brother. Happy belated Father's Day to him. But what they could do, if most definitely, if like the promoters, the higher ends of the IFB come together and try to figure out something, lay out a plan, and stick with it. That's one thing. If they have a plan, stick with it, they might can get some things done. But it's always they have to always adapt to what's considered popular, what's considered the next big thing. It's just like I remember we were talking with Lava House. He said that they might eventually have to create a new division because a lot of the women in bodybuilding, a lot of the girls in the other divisions, like especially physique girls, don't want to go to women's bodybuilding because they hate bodybuilding. I would say like, why not call it master physique? Because or elite physique or something. Change the name from women's bodybuilding to something else where the women say, hey, but still it's going to be still women's bodybuilding no matter how much you label it. But change it to a format where something where we feel more comfortable. It's about, okay, I'll make a decision. I'm gonna go up to there because it fits the criteria of of how I'm growing as an athlete. But
Mm.
it's all about what's popular and what's gonna pull in the crowd. So, gentlemen, as you know, we got here one more. We got a few more things here from my man J Warrior. Beauty is the eyes of the beholder. That's true, but the beholder has different eyes, and also it says this: different people have different opinions when it comes to beauty. And that's true about that too. Because what you might think is attractive, you might think someone like like I'll listen again, like a man, the had his arm on my girl, he had his arm on my girl. I want to see a picture of that, but someone like Andrea, she's a very attractive woman. Someone like Sarah's a very attractive woman. You know, not Sarah. I mean, Brooke. I mean, it's just if they can get with some mainstream company who has the deep pockets that want to promote bodybuilding, that want to put interest into it, that could help it. Especially maybe things for prize money, maybe how maybe just little things here and there. If you get like one thing, if we watch like there's like half a dozen TV networks dedicated to just strictly for certain sports. Like football has its own network, baseball has its own network. You know, soccer, hockey have their own network. Could bodybuilding have one? Some say probably not because the fact is, where you going to show? Most of this bodybuilding shows, and bodybuilding is a seasonal competition, but so is football, basketball, baseball. Many others are seasonal. There's not that many sports that go year round. They play for a season, they take a break, and they come back. What can you feel in that spot? Back in the days on some of the sports networks used to have workout shows. They stopped showing them. You don't see them on like you used to get it early morning, like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. You could show workout shows on like on network television. I remember you
Yeah.
see, it was Jody Gregic used to come on Channel 40 at 6 o'clock.
Remember Richard Simmons?
Richard Simmons,
Yeah, that
Jack,
was in the
Jack,
80s.
yeah, 80s,
80s. I was a baby, as a kid, yo.
yeah, Jack LaLanne. He was good part of 50s, 60s, 70s, up to the 80s. They don't have that
Yeah.
many on anymore. But you know what? You can bring those old. That was a time when sports exercise was really popular. I think a good part of the I would say this, really had a good height in the 70s and 80s because of the Arnold Schwarzenegger, Stallone era, stuff like that. The action heroes era back then, big, loud, explosive. But maybe back to throwback. You can show some old episodes of Jack LaLanne. You can show, you know, exercise with Galad, and show some bodybuilding shows, old classic stuff, old Schwarzenegger, documentaries and stuff, movies, TV shows, something like that. Or Hercules' Legendary Journeys. Because Corey Evans is on there like 3 or 4 times playing Olympia. Um, Here's from my man JW. I don't have a situation in regards to help women's bodybuilding, but all I can say is make the sport more mainstream somehow, publicly. Also, it's important that they keep it feminine. And that's the hard part, try to keep it feminine. And also, he says Amy Schubert is a very beautiful in person. Oh, that's cool. She's all right looking. I think she has a great body. She could, put you. I don't know. She's on that cusp where she could go to women's bodybuilding, but I think she does fairly well in physique. You know, but yeah, but like I said, it's just bait. But but anyway, folks, we're not gonna hold you much longer unless you want to just stay on for a little bit because my man here, Jen, he is. This is his swan song, and
Hey, can you?
what?
No, I was like, actually, can you show the picture of what's her name, Shanique Grant, so I know what she looked like?
Oh, Shanique Grant. Okay, let me let
Yeah.
me pull up. Let me pull up Shanique Grant. She should be okay. For this is for my man KL the Wanderer. And Shanique. I mean, she could have came back. If she wanted to, but I think she really. Her story was that she wanted to go off and have kids. Because she's like Shanique's just I think 28 now. I believe she's 28, and she could have stayed maybe one more year and maybe try to get the title back. But we got this picture right here. I pulled it up. And it's a picture of
All right.
Shanique. I'm gonna show it for you if you've never seen Shanique Grant. You know, there goes Shanique.
Nah, I never seen her before. I don't think I. Nah, I ain't never seen her. She
Well,
a little bit familiar.
yeah, she started bodybuilding in her teenage years. There's one story where she was
Right.
a victim of assault, and she kept, after that, and then also, she's now, as you know, she needs to make her comeback this. I think I don't know next year or this year. She's gonna compete in wellness, and maybe it's a good move for her because there's a lot of girls who were one point either physique or figure and bikini going wellness because it's such a popular division. But
Mm.
as I said again, my man Jen, he's gonna leave us. He's he's heading out into the world. I really appreciate him coming out here and just supporting my channel, supporting the content, being the hand of the emperor. But he's always welcome. He is a welcome son in my house, and for that, as any father to his welcome son, I like to give him applause for his hard work, his dedication, and his store's fastness to this channel. You are a prince among kings and emperors, my dear friend. And as I said again, you are always welcome here. So first, I'm going to give my man Jin the big shout out he deserves. So here you go.
This
Thank
is
you.
last day. It's your last
Yeah,
day, Jen.
Yes.
yeah, yeah. He is. He's told me he's
What
putting his
happened?
papers. Well, his life is, as any young man, is more important, and he has things he want to do. And
Oh, okay.
like any little birdie, he's got to go out and fly. And I got to, I do appreciate it because it was like at least 2 years ago he reached out to me and on email, and and I don't know how I got the email. He probably got it off my IG or something like that. And he said that he wanted to come on and talk, and people may not, was some people feel uncertain about it, but you know what? I appreciate that because one time I was doing this by myself, and I like the company, but like I said, I will miss his company. I will miss his knowledge, his information, the courts of here of the bodybuilding world. But now he's going out, and whatever he does in the future. But like I said, he's welcome back here. If we can always try to arrange it in a way where we can do like maybe early in the day, for him if he likes. So you just come on, we just talk a bit. But like I said, I do appreciate him, and I like to thank you and say, my friend, you are welcomed, and you are appreciated.
Thank you. Thank you. And hopefully I can be on as a guest. And I am passing the baton on to KLA.
Don't do that! No,
For
no, no, don't do that! Okay, I'm sorry, I'm
I
sorry, I'm sorry.
appreciate that.
Uh, he gonna drop the baton. He's that guy who.
All right, I will pass on the baton to George, who will pass on the baton to KLA when he feels like it.
Well, like I
I
said,
appreciate it, Jen.
KL,
I
he's always
appreciate that, man.
well, KL, you're always a welcome guest, and my man here, JD Patton. I'm just busting your balls, but you're a
Yeah,
welcome
you
guest
always
anytime.
busting my balls for some reason. I don't know what it is, man.
You're just so fun to pick on. You just so
I
you're like
know. I know.
I
I
I
hope
know.
know.
I hope that, eventually I can get my bodybuilding podcast started. It might take me a while though, but if I do, I can hopefully be on as a guest to promote it. Maybe.
Well, you know what? You let me know. I'll come on there. I'll speak good words and talk highly of you. You can come on here. We can post it and talk about it. And I would say do like reach out to these ladies out here because you know what? A lot of these ladies out here will love to tell their stories because no
Yeah.
one's really given the opportunity to. And it's great if we have more people
Yeah,
like
they gotta
you.
be willing to accept it too. I mean, but I'm gonna shut up. Go ahead.
No,
Do
go.
your
Yeah,
thing.
I understand. I understand. But like I said, there's women out there who you're gonna have some tough times. You're gonna have to jump a lot of hoops. And I tell you before, don't focus too much on it. You move on. But there's those women out there who are genuinely great ladies who love when somebody talk about them because they don't get the opportunity. No one wants to give these ladies a platform that deserve to be talked about, other than you know Fear Bottom channel, myself, D down the spot, KL here, David at Female Bodybuilding Forum, people like also Daniel Willis, he's doing interviews with female bodybuilders. Shout out to Dan Willis. Sheena Olick is doing stuff with women's bodybuilding. We need more people out here giving these women a voice. Because the guys, they got enough voices. They got enough people to talk about them. They got enough people focused on them. It's good every now and then getting a voice, but mostly this is about these ladies that need an opportunity. And if it's just, it all it takes is just one person that start out, like, with Female by the Channel, and just take them to grow and develop and they get connections. And also, you get to go on friendships with these ladies. And some ladies I've become friendly with. I got an interview coming up in a couple of days with one lady. We'll be really cool talking back and forth on social media. Great lady. She's an IFB pro. One lady who I saw with KL, her story interests me, so I said, reach out to her and they want to talk to her. And the other ladies we have returned their response. Because the fact is, if they generally these ladies really want somebody to share their stories. Because some of them, like some ladies, they say I'm shy. I'm saying shy, but when you're ready, you want to talk about, come on board. I'm not
And
gonna
that
lecture
don't
you.
make no sense, man, with the shyness. I mean, if
Yeah,
you could be in front of a stage, all them people and flexing and stuff, like,
but that's
and you just
different.
asking,
That's
how?
different
How?
because because sometimes some people don't like to talk about themselves. Some people are very private into themselves. They don't like to be too much the focus of situations. It's one thing when you're on stage competing, you have to compete. But if this is your public life, that's something you don't feel like comfortable sharing. There's nothing you can do about that. But
I
if you
mean, they
give
don't
them
have to
time,
put it all in detail. Like, it
but
don't
some
have to, it could just, yeah.
yeah, but sometimes some people feel like they might say too much, and some people, like I said, some people are very private.
All
But then at the
right.
same
All right.
time, if they're willing to share their stories and they're interested in, they feel like they feel like they can be the focus. Sometimes people don't want to be the focus for it. Some people like to be all attention. Hey, like myself, I don't want to be center attention, but sometimes there's times where I don't want to be center attention. But it's just about with any woman, you have to be patient. And sometimes you're gonna have some people are gonna be a pain in the ass, and you don't want to deal with them, so you just move on. Some people who generally want to come out, and some people who kind of just are not really get out from under their shell. Like with my situation, I was when I started doing this and doing this, I was kind of like I'm more of a homebody. I don't like to go out if I don't have to, but you know what? I try to go out as often as I can. I might go work out, do this. It's just try to get stuff out there, and that's how some of these days are. This is a sport for them that get them from like one lady I saw. She was a victim of abuse, and this is sport that really helped her with her abuse. One lady, I said again, because she was overweight. This sport helped her out with dealing with her weight issues. One lady got it because it was just something she liked. But sometimes, like I said again, they're very. Sometimes some of these ladies they have to deal with people being weird, comments like that, and sometimes they can get them jaded. But then, if you're the type of person who doesn't push too hard, who just say, you know what, if you really want to talk, like this is what I learned. I had to learn this because especially dealing with any woman, don't push too hard. Stand back, give them time. When they're ready, they'll come on the show. They're the ladies who I've been talking to on IG and social media for 2 or 3 years, and we finally started doing an interview. Some maybe
Mm.
2 or 3 months. It's all about timing, their comfortable zone. Because sometimes they feel like one thing. It's not like we're out in the public area, you and me. We're just two
Yeah.
people facing each other on a computer, and you don't have to really deal with the people who's watching the interview because hey, I don't have to. Like sometimes if somebody will post something, I'm not gonna say it if I feel like it might be offensive or just something that is just stupid. I won't say it. If something I feel like they won't bother them too much, I would say like if something like if Ballsy posts something, if it's not too bad, I'll comment on it. If something is that something I don't like Ballsy talk about, I won't say anything. Like you talk about how you like to say like something you say why do you ask flex? So sometimes they get tired of people asking flex. I don't, I don't, that should, you get enough. I mean, you saw an interview with AJ how he had the girl put on her posing suit right after the show. Right after she did the show. I mean, come on, man. I understand but still, she just get out of the show, get relaxed, get cool. Then she can go all the way golf on a posing suit.
So you try to treat them more of a human being
They're all
than
human beings.
just.
They're all human beings.
I'm just saying. I'm just listen. I'm just saying. Like,
They are human beings.
so
You
I
treat
know
them
what
like
they are, dude. I'm just saying. You try to look at them more of a person, like an everyday chick.
no,
That's what I'm trying
no,
to say.
like this, like I was taught. Treat a lady like a lady. That's what you're supposed
But
to do.
yeah, but
No,
nowadays
no, no,
that's
no,
very
no, no, no,
hard.
no. I know it's hard, but if you are a type of person like this, I was raised. See, like I said, my father was in and out of my life. I had people like my uncle, my grandfather. I learned how to be a man. Good part be a man from them. I learned other stuff I learned from my mom, but to be a man, you got to learn from other men. And like I said,
Yeah.
I worked around women for a long time, and women they like I said, this is something I don't know. Maybe some people have sisters. Where a woman feels comfortable talking to somebody, especially a man, you don't want to take advantage of that. Appreciate that. My man, JW saying this. He says, 100%, 100% thumbs up.
All I can say, I operate against different George. That's all.
Well, you
I
have
mean,
to
I
be.
do get it that I do get it. I do get it that you got to respect the ladies, but I also know that it goes with the women too. They gotta respect themselves as well. I'm not
Yeah,
saying that all of them are like looked at sexual objects, but I'm just saying a lot of women they kind of display that. Even other women judge them like, yo, she shouldn't be dressed like that. If a man say that, if men say it, he gonna get in trouble. But women say it,
yeah,
but
but
that's yeah, I had.
that's the double standard about the world. It's always going to be double standards. There's nothing you can really much do about the double standards. But
Yeah.
like I said, it's about you, not so much about that person. It's about you and how you want to be treated. Like you sometimes deal with people. Like I said, I've worked in public for a long time, working in a gas station, working in a strip club, working at a business. And those places we deal with public a lot. The public can be a pain in the ass, but like my man Dalton said, you know, there's time to be nice and time not to be nice. But sometimes, when it's time not to be nice, you still have to be nice. I don't like my man Dalton, Blue House. And sometimes he will push you a certain way, but don't let a person take control of you. You got to be the person. You have to. Sometimes it's hard to be the bigger person, but you got to be the better person. You can't help. Somebody can't help be who they are. That's who they are. You can help, but who you can be. You have a choice. You can let that person pull you down to their level or stay yours. And if you're at a high level, no one can pull you down. There's times I get frustrated. I do. But you know what? I can say, step back. I say, you know what? Never let somebody, take control of you. Don't let them be the issue. If they become too much an issue, then it's not worth it. That's why sometimes I reach out to ladies. Sometimes I'll send a thing so often. And if you don't want to, spend the time talking about it, I'm gonna move on. Because you know what? There's other people who might want to share their story. I just talked to a lady this morning. She saw my reply. She said, "I'm sorry I'm late." She was going through something. I said, "Well, when things get settled, we'll get back up." And so one lady I'm still talking to. We just got things get set. She's going through. She has some stuff she got to take care of, and once she gets her schedule set, she gets back up with me. It's about giving time. You know, it's gonna be tough. And like I say, I drink this up to my man Jen here too. It's gonna be tough. You're gonna have to jump a lot of hoops. You're gonna have to kiss some babies. But if you get the right people on your podcast, you get the right ladies who want to come on there and share their stories, you do good. And like I said again, these
Yeah, I'll
women,
check your stuff out, Jen.
yeah, yeah. I've been telling him to post some stuff on. He has a YouTube account, and I keep telling him try to expand on it. You can post stuff.
The way Jen kind of reached out to you, it's like Rolando reaching out to me.
Jen and Orlando, they're two different. I think that's two
Yeah,
different
I
ways.
know, I know, I know, I know, I know. I know. Maybe Rolando is better off with me. I don't know. Rolando, he's a funny dude, man. He's a funny dude.
Yeah. That's why I say it's best you stick with him. And maybe if you need me to help you out
Yeah,
every now and then, I'm happy to help you out. But at the
yeah,
same
he funny.
time,
I gave him the link. Nah, I ain't gonna put him out there. Forget it. I
yeah,
got a big
that's
mouth.
that's all right. Hey, you just speaking. Sometimes it's best. Sometimes it's so I gotta speak a bit because sometimes biting your tongue hurts. You speak your
Yeah,
mind because biting your tongue hurts sometimes. But
Hey
like I
yeah.
said,
guys, I'm gonna have to go because I got a movie that's coming up soon. But peace
okay.
out, everybody.
All
Be
right, peace out,
safe.
man.
All
And
right, man.
come
Good
back
luck
later
to
with me.
you, man.
So let's say first, let's give a big hard applause for our man, the Hand Emperor, in his last day, Jin.
Yeah.
Bravo. Encore. Peace out, man, and goodbye. Good luck.
Peace and prosperity.
All righty.
All right.
So that was the last court. Well, we might have him back on again because, like I said, we got some shows coming up. He's
Wait,
like,
is he? Wait. He's tempted to work or what's going
well,
on with
mostly,
him?
most of the part is we used to we always have or much talk money around this time because usually about the day, and his job is where it's taking up a good amount of his time. But I told him
Oh,
anytime he feels like it, if we want to have something we'll talk about. I just I'm gonna send an email and say, hey, let me know your schedule, especially we got some shows coming up. And we got Portugal coming up in a couple of weeks. We got, I think, the week after that we have the Atlanta show. After that we have Chicago. Then in August it's gonna be the Tampa and also the Masters Olympia
man.
and a couple more shows here and there. And after that, that's it.
Yeah, why
Then we
don't
have
you no, I had a suggestion. Like, why don't you bring like I don't know if you can, but like bring like a female bodybuilder or something that probably can be available. But then
well,
again, that's not going to be always too easy. So
you know what? If I thought about this, because the lady who I interviewing on, I should have said we should have did it on Monday, but I already had this interview set, this live stream set already when I reached out for interview. We could have done it
man,
today, but I think I say I want to give her time because she's a busy lady. She coaches, she trains, she does other stuff. So I say, well, middle week is better. Wednesday's better because the fact is, most times you try to get everything done by the first couple of days of the week, and then by Wednesday, that's when everything starts slipping down because you get closer to the weekend, so you start relaxing a little bit. You know,
right,
uh, got my man here, Jay Warrior. He's sticking with us. Yeah, shout out to Jay Warrior. Um, a lot of women bodybuilders were not too thrilled about AJ making Julia Wessel in the posing suit doing the interview. Sherry Palmer and the others spoke out. Oh yeah, I think because I know somebody's talking about that. Yeah, because come on, she could say nah, AJ, I'm cool, but AJ, I like he does good. Him and JB does some good stuff. They put us some good content.
yeah,
But still, come on, man. She could have just took off her jacket and just flex a little bit, and that's it. She need to go on and take off the whole suit. That's
mm.
just too much. I mean, but
Us guys, we kind of get carried away, man.
well, he really gets carried away. I like said again, he puts out good stuff. He gives interviews, reaches out to the right people, and
Right.
he kind of backhands me at the same time, but he gives me a pat in the back. But sometimes he backhands me too. But but what was talking about earlier?
Yeah, we was talking about how the women should be treated or something like that.
Yeah, because like I said, these women, many of them, especially ones that have been competing as long as they have dealt with a lot of people's like issues. I remember I was talking with I was in IG and had like a little back and forth with Margie Martin. And I said, like, I would like to have her do an interview. We said, you don't need an interview. We said, I want an interview because you've been a legend. I want to, said, now, why don't you talk to really, really, his thing is, I can reach out to promoters, but they really won't talk to somebody like me. They would rather, if it was someone like on the higher end of the spectrum, like maybe, like I said again, like someone like Dave Palumbo, someone like maybe like AJ, or maybe maybe more you know, mainstream company, mainstream news interests, they would talk to them. But me, I like to talk to the athletes because like I said again, the athletes are the product. You know, you
Right.
ladies, we go see you ladies. We go see you competitors. We don't go see the judges. We don't see the promoters. We don't see, we don't even know half the time. We don't know the names. Other than people I know, like I know Linda Murray's promoter. I know of you know, you know, I know of there's you know, Tim Gardner,
Oh my God.
Jake Wood,
Yo.
uh, a couple other people I know of, but generally, truthfully, it's the athletes because you're the product. We had a little back and forth in her in the comment section in one of her posts, but that's why generally some of these women are kind of hesitant. Margie's going for another direction still, but it'd be great to talk to someone like her. As long as she's been in the game, she's been a multiple time Olympic competitor. She's been a 2-time Rise of Phoenix champion. I mean, former Marine, a mom. I mean, you have a story that people would love to tell about. She does some stuff, some mainstream, couple of mainstream stuff here and there, but also she's crossing over to a little bit more of a risque style of her content. She has her OnlyFans, and and I think she's posting stuff that's very uh, tempting. I tell,
Mm.
but yeah,
Yes,
but we
she's exotic chocolate.
yeah, yeah. But with these ladies, you have to understand that. I said again, they go through a lot. They have
Uh,
to work out, train, this, that, and especially the ones who have kids and babies to raise. You know,
mm,
it's a lot harder. I just saw Dee did an interview with a lady. She just turned pro a while ago, and she's a figure competitor. She has 2 kids of her own, plus they have a blended family. I think 2 kids and his kids, and I think she's saying how she was going to graduations because her two, one was graduating from elementary school to middle school, one drove from middle school to high school, and then another one, her husband's kid graduating from high school to it takes they have to find a time.
yeah,
But then sometimes, like I said, some of these ladies are very, you talk about say yes, they're shy and they used to go on stage and they're wearing they're half naked and backstage, but still, that's the part of their sport. They want to compete. That's what they do. Sometimes something like talking about themselves is just it's not. They don't feel comfortable talking about themselves. So even when they weren't competitors, some people like that. Some people don't like talking about themselves. Before they became
I
bodybuilders.
get it. I get it. I get it, man. I get it. I
Hmm.
just, sometimes you don't really understand, like, because sometimes, I mean, they just do some weird things. Like you ask them stuff, and then you don't get a response for some reason. I don't know. They see it, like you know how like you see it through the IG and stuff. They see him, and then you're like, then why not say nothing?
Well, sometimes they may not feel like talking about it, or just they don't feel like it's anything. You might think it's something about it, but maybe they don't take it as seriously as you do. And or
Yeah,
it's just like I said again, some people are weird like that, but some people just as I said again, they just have their quirks, they have their ways. Like
yeah,
I said, some women, like I said, we've been talking a bit for a while, and maybe eventually they'll come on and want to talk. I said, hey, I tell me this: if you're ready, when you're ready, you say you want to, just come on. Because one thing is, you're in a sport where you have to sell yourself as like what you saw with the posters. I posted some of the clips from my interview with Andrea Sauer. How she says you have to approach yourself as a brand. You have to because this sport does not. There's no money in this sport unless you make it for yourself, and you have to be out there. Like that's why I reached out to Andrea and I said, "Here, Andrea, you want to do the interview? Because there's it's like remember she while back. Remember you watched the interview? I sent her a package,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and she shot me out. She even ate one of the. I sent her a thing of the cinnamon crunch Fuego, and she said it was too hot, but she had to give somebody else. But she shot me out because you know, this is these ladies. They like to get the attention. She really want to talk about stuff. She does other stuff. She got her OnlyFans. She does. I remember she said she was just while she was up in New York. She worked with Steve Shabelli
yeah.
for
I watch her
IPL.
clips. I watch her clips from Athena too.
Yeah, and and she says you have to put yourself out there. Now, some women they don't feel comfortable doing stuff like OnlyFans like that. That's them. That's their choice. You gotta respect
Right.
that. But some women know that in order to succeed in this sport, to try to make a living, especially in a sport where there is no real money, no real income. You have to put yourself out there. If you have to make content, you have to do, like I said, like one thing she should think about it. I told her she should think about doing online coaching. I think people probably love to be the do online coaching with her because she's known, she's in the industry, she's IFV pro. And a lot of people ever since the pandemic, things change because there's new technology, new stuff out there. That StreamYard, I think StreamYard really, I think when I started StreamYard, I think I started StreamYard just about that year when Ma passed. That was during the pandemic.
How you know
And
about that? Like, how you know about streaming?
I think I knew through my friend, the coach, you
Oh,
know, because my friend, the coach he used to do what was Hangout, but then he switched over to StreamYard for half a minute, and now he's with I think he's still with StreamYard, I believe. And then that's why I started to StreamYard because I just came on because, like I said, at the time my mom was gone, I had a lot of free time. I just needed something to keep my mind busy, and
yeah.
then slowly I started reaching out to people and get emails back or IG back, and one of my favorite one was when I got Nancy Lewis.
Yeah, I think I see that one. I probably seen that.
Nancy Lewis, a legend, a woman I've been a fan of. Then I got someone like Sue Price. Sue
Yeah.
Price. I'm still in contact with both Nancy and Sue. It takes time. And like I said, with you, your situation, you're not as educated about the sport. Because, like I said, Shanique Grant. Truthfully, I didn't, follow Shanique Grant like that, but I did start learning about her because she is a big part of the sport. She's a two-time physique champion. Attractive young
How
lady.
much education I need though? Like, I mean, like, what? Like, I have to what? Like, I have to watch other female bodybuilders or bodybuilders or
Well, you need enough education to understand. So when you get in a conversation, so when you start
yeah.
talking about something, you understand. I won't, like I said, now with me, when I started doing videos and stuff like that, I just started just to, have something to talk about. But then over time, especially I've been a fan of bodybuilding for a long time, probably just as long as you, maybe even longer. And from the acquaintance, one thing I learned a lot from the acquaintance I made from these ladies I've done interviews with. They told me stuff. They teach me things. And then, like one point is, I wasn't a big fan of physique. I very talk about physique, but the last year or so, I have done quite a few interviews related to physique. I even talk about shows we don't have women's bodybuilding have physique. I even talk about shows we have maybe just figure, because I see aspects stuff I learned. You have to be
Man.
able to like Andrea said, you have to be a sponge. How she said right now herself, you have to be able to soak it in. I know sometimes it's hard to retain it, but if you can, write it down. Put a book. Put it like make something a little diary, so you can always
It
go
don't
back. Like
seem all that deep. Like, but I'm like, oh man,
I can
because
say, go ahead.
no, go ahead. No,
No, go
I
ahead.
mean, cause it seemed like it ain't all that deep. I'm like, I'm trying to like understand it. I'll look at stuff, but I don't know, man. It's not always it's not easy to take in everything. I don't know.
Well, you have
Then
to
you got
have.
to know the names and who got placed and all this stuff.
It's like I said, it's tough, but if you're willing to stand yourself and your brand, you have to work at it. Anything worth having, you have to work at it. It's never going to come easy. It didn't come easy to me, but with me, I have a good recall. I used to remember when I used to work my old job at NBA Sophies. My plant manager, Susie Jones, she used to come like if a couple of the big guys from the big company come through, and she said, "Yo, George, come over here." And she says like, "George, tell them what this go that." I would sit there and tell them what material, what thread. This is something I learned. I used to do this when I used to work when I used to work at the gas station when I used to do beer stuff. This guy, his name was Adam, real cool guy. He used to drive the Bud Light truck. He come through. One day he brought his boss with him. His boss, he asked, his boss, hey, ask him this. He asked me that. I just have a good set of recall. But if you don't have that, then like I said again, write down write it down, or if you can record it yourself, so you can remember that stuff. So you need it. This is a guy here from my man Jay Warrior says, treat the ladies with respect and have decorum. Basically, that's what George is saying. I agree. Yeah, that's it. That's why sometimes, like, unlike guys like David or like DD, he does a lot of back and forth with his interviews. David, he does sometimes, but mostly just more like questions. I throw out questions, but sometimes I like to have a conversation too in between the questions. so we can keep the, sometimes it keeps the, the interview going a good while. Sometimes we have, some ladies might have a set time limit. Sometimes some ladies will ask me, say, how long are we going to go? Well, as long as you feel like it. I had the interviews where I sat there and, I said, well, what time is it now? We've been here about almost 2 hours. I remember that interview with, I think,
Hannah Hussein, you did 2 hours. I ain't never forget that one. Hannah Hussein,
I think
you did.
somewhere else, I think somewhere else did a little longer. I think, yeah, almost.
Oh yeah, you did longer. Yeah,
Yeah.
you could talk, bro. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like
My mom tell me this. I used to, like, I go to the store. And your mom said, George, where you been, George? I said, I just went to the store. I said, who you saw? I said, oh, I saw what's face? Oh, how long you talk,
yeah,
Mom? We just talk for like 10, 15 minutes, Mom, because, everybody who sees me recognize, especially where I live in a small town. Half
yeah.
people in town I'm related to. The other half I just know either from, through my mother, my father, my brothers and sisters, or when I used to work my different jobs.
Mm,
And I have that, some people, and sometimes I've been in situations where I don't even know the person and just start talking to me. We just had a back and forth conversation. I was shopping one day, and this guy, he was sitting there. He was like, he only had one leg. He was riding one of what's his face. I was riding one too because my knees give me problems in time. Sometimes I can't keep walking because my back, I think my left knee is bone on bone. My right knee, especially because it's getting close to that. And sometimes I ride those little riding things, so I don't have to walk too much. You know, but we were talking, and the guy just saw me riding the thing. We were talking. Sometimes just all it takes is just something like that. You just have a
yeah,
basic conversation out of the blue about, it could be just about nothing, and just sometimes some people just need somebody to talk to, and that's where
yeah,
some of these ladies might just need somebody to talk to because they do have their family, some have friends, some might have nobody, and just be something like listening to an interview with Eva. I like the interview with her because I did a couple of views. I did a video about her. I might send her that video because I did one with a comparison video with her and Melanie Horton. And I know her and Melanie are within that same age group. I think Eva's 60,
yeah.
Melanie's about to be 60. I did for my Mother's Day last year when I did for Moms with Muscles. I think I did it for last year. And I said, what, I even reached out to one time on, I think it was on my old IG account, but
Mm.
but I
Well,
sent an email.
you gonna get it. Well, you got it right. Mm.
Yeah, well, I told him we're gonna do it probably this Friday because some
Okay.
things are coming up. So
I'll stay tuned. I'll stay tuned. I'll look
I
at
said,
it. I'll check.
yeah. But like I said, it's just about listening. Like one thing, I let them talk, and then like sometimes you cut it like Lisa, Lisa Smith. She's a long-winded, but sometimes you gotta cut in when you feel like you need to cut in. You got to break in when you can, and
Mm.
say
With
you can't.
women, you can't. I don't know, man. Like they're very difficult because they can talk, and it depends on the
It's
person.
all it's all depending. Some women don't talk as much as others. Some
Yeah,
women
I
just,
know. I know.
yeah. It's all depending on the person. It's all depending on the woman. You have women who like to talk about themselves because they like talk about themselves. Some women just don't. Like I said again, the ones who don't feel kind of private, they're not that talkative. But once you get them working out of their shell, they'll tell the whole story with you. It's like I said, it's a process, and like I said, it took me time and work and patience and getting turned down. Sometimes I was kind of pissed, and then missing an interview or this ain't no, or this and that. It happens, and you know what? You have to either roll with the punches or let it just take you out. And I learned to roll with the punches. And I said again, sometimes with ladies, I just say, if you're not interested, like I talk to some ladies who are high level competitors and been talking back and forth. So you know what? I said, you know what? I'm gonna move on. I might reach out to them later down the road when they feel like available. I was talking to one lady. She said she was doing interviews already. Saying when she did enough interviews, she said, "Well, whenever you want to, whenever you feel like you want to talk, I'm happy to be here." You know, Others I reached out, and had come back to me. I said, "You know what? I'm not gonna focus on." Like
Yeah,
saying, there's like I said, even though bodybuilding is kind of a small community in our sports, it's still a big community, and somebody's connected. Sometimes it could be somebody who's afraid of a friend, or somebody say, "Oh, I saw you did an interview with what's the face," and I say, "Oh, you did,"
right.
or I might say, "Hey," I might see somebody did an interview and say, "Hey, what's your friend name?" I say, "Oh, so you face you want to do an interview?" Say, "Oh, yeah," and then she text say, "Yeah, George, she's really glad because sometimes she has this great story." Like one lady, it was Rachel. She was a friend of a lady I did an interview with. Cool girl, nice lady, served our country. She went through some lot of stuff, and she has a great story. We don't be in contact like on IG like we do, like I do with the others. But I always try to stay in contact as I can. But generally, sometimes some women just move to the wayside and keep on moving.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just do what I can. I mean, sometimes I don't always want to do a female bodybuilders all the time. Sometimes I
Well, you
want
don't
to do
have
a little
to.
different route. Yeah, I'm
You
just
don't.
saying. I'm just saying that. I'm just saying like sometimes it's not always easy all the time. Sometimes
Well,
I'll switch it up and
mhm.
like try to switch it up.
And that's good because you know what? I try to do interviews with women inmates. I hadn't done any interviews with an inmate fighter since I think. See, when the last inmate fighter I did an interview with was Jessica Borgia, and then I had an interview with Britton Hart. I hadn't had. This year it's been kind of dry for women in combat sports for me. I've reached out to some ladies, but other than see, I got Misty Marks, and I try to reach out to more female wrestlers. I like to reach out to female wrestlers because I like female wrestlers. It's hard to get the
Yeah,
guys sometimes because the guys they want to go interview with the big name post people and like that. But some of these women wrestlers, especially on the lower end, the independent ends, some of them are open. Most of the times they're busy. But you
right.
do what you do because like you do an interview with the gay ladies in the wrestling thing, in the mixed
Yeah,
wrestling.
but they a pain in the ass, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like a lot of them, they got some issues or something, man. I don't know what it is, bro.
Well,
And then some of them they don't respond to you. I know what you're gonna tell me, but I mean they crazy, bro.
well, now you know that out. So you know what? Then forget about it. Move on to the next one. And that turn that
Yeah,
next one. It's about being persistent. And
right.
if you're willing to put yourself out as a content maker, you're willing to go keep reaching out these women for interviews, reach out to talk to these people. You got to be persistent. There'll be days, like I said again. And I know there's days we say you're frustrated, you're tired, you piss you off. But you know what? Don't let people like have that too much control over you.
Yeah,
Don't.
yeah,
You should never let nobody have any kind of like that. Like let you pull you out of yourself. I've done that before. I let people pull me out of myself. That's not good. You
yeah.
gotta,
You're right.
you gotta stay focused on what you want to do. Like I said again, you want to do bodybuilders. Reach out to these professional wrestlers. Hey, if you're a fan of, like I said, my man, the coach, he does MMA. That's what got me into talking to ladies at MMA because of him. And and I enjoyed this conversation. There's like 2 or 3 ladies who I'm still cool with.
Yeah.
And still in contact with them. But it's
We're two
just
opposites, George.
that's
I'm
true.
you're Mr. Glass, and I'm like Bruce Willis from Unbreakable. The guy.
You know why they call me Mr. Glass? It was the children. It was the children. They called me Mr. Glass. They
We're two
called me Mr.
opposites. I be looking at them. I be looking at my IG page. I'll be like, damn, she look nice. Maybe I should talk to her. I'm not even like focusing so much on sport wise. I just be like, like just to have people like tune in or something like that.
Well, with me, I might find somebody. You know what? I might like. When I interview with the bikini lady, Dr. Christina. She's a doctor. She is
Yeah,
an MD, and she competes as a bikini competitor, a pro. I usually don't reach out to it's hard to get with the bikini girls. So most of them are on a higher end. Most of them are I don't reach. I'm not a we had talked
big
before.
fan of them.
Yeah, I like me and Dr. Christina. I think we have fallen out because like I said, I made a comment, but I'm gonna be truthful of who I am. I'm like I said,
Man.
even though you're part of bodybuilding, that's what it is. You're part of bodybuilding, but you're not per se as a mindset of as me as a fan, truly women's bodybuilding. Your sport that's more that was brought
Oh, that's
in.
what you told her.
Like I said, I had to be. I gotta be. I told her, like I said, not in so much words, but I told her basically what I thought. Yeah, I gotta, sometimes I gotta tell you, I gotta tell you, either like this. I can either tell you a pretty lie or the ugly truth, and
Man.
it's best for you to let you know what's in my head and just try to say, try to,
I mean, it ain't just you. It ain't just you, because Eva was saying that also. Like she was saying that it's like well, not the exact thing, but she was saying something to what you was saying that she don't really like consider it like bodybuilding per se. So
because it's even though they do work out, but not the same degree as some of the women like in physique, even in
Yeah.
wellness. Well, some of the wellness girls do a lot more, especially do a lot more leg work than the bikini girls. Their bikini's more of a division that's more, you know, it's more eye catching for the everyday person. They like girls in bikinis. You go back, you go to I think it was a Saturday they had a one of those beauty pageants because I was watching that Saturday was I was on my local NBC station. They had UFC. I watched one of the fights. I didn't watch the rest of it because I missed some of the fights because I know it came out a little earlier. I usually come out like by 6 or 7. It came out like I think about 2 or 3. I was watching something else and I watched the UFC fight. And then I said, "Wow, I missed the fight I wanted to watch because I didn't think it was coming on this early in that on that date."
Yeah.
But then there that evening when I thought it would come on around about I thought UFC was going to come on around about 7. They had a one of those beauty pageants.
Mm.
Beauty pageants have been a long time, around for years.
Right.
When I was younger, I used to like watching the Miss America or Miss USA pageant because I like to watch the girls in bikinis, the girls in nice dresses and stuff like that. Because it's very appealing. But as a bodybuilding fan, to me, and no offense to Dr. Queen, she's a great lady, amazing person. But I said again, I feel like your sport's not like even when I talk physique, I call physique watered down women's bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Especially I've been a fan of women's bodybuilding as long as I have. But bikini is more of a sport that was brought in to bring in more attention to bodybuilding compared to how bodybuilding was existed and women's bodybuilding spinning for men's bodybuilding and grew and developed its own division. But they brought this division in. But even truthfully, in a way, bikini, in a way, bodybuilding did start off like bikini in a way, but it evolved and grew. We got here, Sean Miller. No shade to the other divisions. Pro female bodybuilders do it for me. Yeah, shout out to
Sean
you.
McMillan,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
villain.
the villain. He stayed the villain. So he rather stay a villain. But but I respect Dr. Christina, and like I said, my point. We used to talk a little bit. I sent her some stuff. She laughed and talk about, it, but I think I might have maybe hurt her feelings a little bit. But I don't mean to hurt your feelings, but I'm just telling you what's on my mind. I'm gonna be truthful. I reached out to her because the fact was, her story drew me. Here's this woman, 50 years old, a mother, a doctor, competing in a sport like bodybuilding. Not that lucrative sport, not a lot of money in it, but she does it because she likes it, and I respect her about that. Her division, not a big fan of it.
Right.
And
I
said
mean, at
again,
least you interviewed her. I mean, like nobody wasn't. I don't think anybody would have thought about her like that. I don't know.
well, like I said, maybe down the road she'll reach out to me, or I just like I said, just maybe just back away from him a little bit. Maybe give her time. She'll reach out to me because sometimes I have some women say, "Hey, George, it's been a while since we talked," and IG say, "Well, how you doing?" Where I just say, maybe we just say, I understand. I tell her I understand because I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna tell you what's in my mind.
Tomorrow. No,
Mhm.
I was saying. No, I was saying tomorrow. I'm gonna be interviewing this girl. She's like a Taekwondo athlete.
That's
She's not an
good.
MMA. Yeah, she's not. You ain't see the post?
Yeah, because I thought you could do it today. What happened?
Yeah, yeah. She said she. I called her and she said that she had like some doctor appointment, so she rescheduled tomorrow and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
we
kind of
gonna
situation.
do it like 12.
Yeah, situation Lexi with Lexi Stahl. I said like whatever you want to give her a reach back. I might reach out to her maybe a couple dollars to try to reach out see how things go in her situation. If not, I'm just saying I'm not gonna. What
Yeah, good
happened?
luck on that one. Good
Yeah,
luck
yeah.
on-
Could have had on Friday, but then my cable, my internet went out, and I thought it was gonna be like one time my internet was out for almost a whole entire day, and
Yo,
if I
why you ain't
use
use your phone? Like you could have
well,
like use your phone and then like put like clips or
I don't like using my phone.
pictures.
I mean, honestly, I
Mm,
don't like using my phone. I don't like using my phone. I'd rather use my computer because I really can be more better control. My phone, no. I personally, but if I can't use my computer, I'd rather not use my phone. I'm gonna be honest with you.
mm.
I have more
All right.
control here with the phone is phone's good for when my interviewees, but when it's for me when I need more control, I can't do as well with my phone as I do with my computer.
All
And
right.
but my what's this came on a little bit before 6, and it was it's too late because I changed the date and everything. But like I said, if I'm not gonna get it, I'm not gonna worry about it. That's up to
Right.
her if she wants to get in contact. She's the one who contacted me when she saw my message. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, because I'm not gonna I sent her the
Mm.
message. That was maybe I think was when I sent the message maybe earlier this year or earlier last year. I can't remember. And she's the one to contact me. So if she wants to, she knows where I am. She has my email. Wherever the situation done, she can contact me. I'll send her a message every now and then, but I'm not gonna spend my
Mm.
time chasing. No, I've
No,
done
I
that
don't
before.
blame you. I don't
No,
blame
and then,
you.
I mean, even Dave told me he had a problem trying to get up with her. David over Female Bible Forum. So I think, yeah, so if she's gonna be like freaky like that, I'm not gonna waste my time. But
So
like I
I'm
said,
not the only one.
no, you're not the only one. So don't feel bad and don't feel sorry. Just move on. That's all you can do.
Yeah.
Move on. If she's interested, if she wants to, she has my
She
email.
did DD on the spot, like like I think like
Hmm
couple of
I
times or something like that.
One point she said she wanted me to focus on her. You just started doing this MMA thing, the BJJ thing. More people gonna recognize you more
Lexus
for being.
Stall. That's
Yeah, she just started. She did a BJJ tournament earlier this year. People gonna
oh
recognize
okay.
you more as a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
The people that follow you, especially these guys, not what you
Yeah.
for your BJJ tournament, they recognize you more for you as a bodybuilder. You're
Yeah.
not if unless you if you make if being a BJJ competitor was your career, yes, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about doing the interview, but the main focus is you are as a bodybuilder. She said she had competed since
But why don't
2020.
you? But she couldn't just talk about it like both.
We would talk
That's
about it. We would talk about it. We would talk about it. But she said well, you know how I make my covers for my videos. She said, well,
right.
'cause the fact is, I said, let's install NPC competitor. Let's install. People gonna recognize you as an NPC competitor, as a bodybuilder. Not gonna recognize you as a MMA fighter, as a BJJ fighter doing
Yeah.
BJJ tournaments. They recognize you from your bodybuilding. That's
Yeah.
what they recognize you from. You just started this thing. We will talk about it in the video because I do content. I've done interviews with ladies who are in MMA, who done BJJ and other styles of mixed martial arts. I've done interviews with those women. We can talk about that in the video too. Interview too. But the thing to bring people in, they recognize you from bodybuilding.
Yeah.
You got to remember that. That's where they recognize you from. They recognize you as a bodybuilder, not as a BJJ competitor, because you just started
Mm.
that. You hadn't been. You don't have, like I say, you go on her. You can go on her social media. She has more pictures of showing off her butt than anything she has anything else on there. She has that one picture
Facts.
of her doing a BJJ tournament, but she has more stuff of her showing off her butt, showing off her body, and bodybuilding stuff. Than she has that one little picture of a BJJ tournament.
Right.
That's one. So there's
She
one thing
just
about
need to change her things. She just need to change her profile. That's it.
yeah.
Like rearrange it.
If you post more, you be like I do interviews with ladies who do BJ tournaments and who do MMA. That's on this stuff. I know some ladies who do like one lady who did an interview with Manny Pope, who is an MMA fighter, but she was. I found this out during an interview. She is an IFB Pro fitness competitor. She
Yeah.
competed in bodybuilding. It was like maybe 6 years ago she last competed. She told me how it took her body, her no, no, it took her MMA fights to pay for a bodybuilding career, a good part of it. She's even when we were talking, she said she's thinking about even coming back and competing in fitness. She's thinking about doing masters. I hope maybe I'm not putting it out, but she doesn't watch this, so she won't know about it. So anyway, but yeah, what she wants to do, you know. But I would say don't focus too much on it. I mean, just
Yeah.
focus on the ones who really want the stories to be told, who want to share the stories, who want people to understand that some of these ladies, there's somebody who just like them, who's probably went through that same thing they went through. They went through maybe hard times. They go to the gym because the gym was their thing, and then their body started evolving. Somebody saw them, hey, you know what? You have potential. You want to do this, you can do this, and do what you like to do. You talk to a lady who's a Muay Thai fighter. You're talking to ladies who in the wrestling world. You're doing your thing. You know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well,
So
I try.
you keep that's all you can do is try. That's all you can do. Well, folks, like I said, we've been here for a good while. I'm here. I'm a KA's cheerleader. So, but
I'm the cheerleader.
no, I'm the cheerleader.
Oh,
You're like the bad news bears. I got a cheerleader for you. So.
okay. I'm the bad. I take the bad news bear. My life is like the bad news bear. I ain't go.
Or you keep Bobby Boucher, the water boy. Mama says, let the
You
sun
know,
come out.
I was, when I was the manager for a basketball team back in high school. I try to try out for basketball, but I wasn't good. I started basketball late. And so
Uh,
the coach knew, like, I had like a passion to play basketball, but he was like, yeah, he's gonna be the manager.
yeah.
I didn't stay long doing that. I could have, I kind of quit a little bit.
Well, one time before when I played high school football, I had to be the water boy because I didn't take my physical, so I was a water boy
Yeah,
for a night. So I forgot to take my physical. So but yeah, I played for a couple of years, but I got out of it because I got a real job and I need to make money. And my coach asked me,
yeah,
"You want to play football, make money?" I said, I gotta, you got to pay me." He said, "No." I said, "Bye." So I left because I wasn't coming
yeah.
in practice long. I was working a job. I was making some money for myself. I was
Well, I
young then,
wasn't
man.
working. I wasn't working.
Yeah. Okay, but yeah, but instead again, folks, this conversation we had was about what can be done for human body, but I don't know. There's a absolute, uh, um, absolute answer for this. It's all about what the higher ends need to do. If they have to cut out divisions, like I said again, men's bodybuilding, men's 212, physique, bodybuilding, figure, the more muscle winning divisions and focus on the more aesthetically attainable divisions such as men's classics, men's physique, um, bikini, and wellness, possibly. But I don't think it's going to happen because most every men's bodybuilding is the big money division. There's already there. Men's bodybuilding been around for as long as can. If it gets support, maybe people back at promoters get opportunities for it. It should be mainstream. Should just stop looking at people, see them as athletes, any athlete. They always point fingers at bodybuilding steroids, but you got to forget about it. It happens more often in the mainstream sports than anything. And even like I remember I did an interview with Laura, even sports like golf, there's steroids. So folks, we're gonna head out. It's already about my supper time. I'm gonna head up, fix myself a nice little supper. Shout out to man Jen Jared, aka the Hand of the Emperor. We're gonna miss you, brother. Like I said, you're always welcome to come out here. We have such to talk about. Right now it's kind of quiet for us because there's not much to talk about till no shows until about. We got a show coming up. We got shows coming up in July. We got the shows coming up in August. We're gonna have a big hole in between till the Olympia. Hoping to get some interviews. Maybe I can. I will do some interviews. Go back to do interviews. I must talk Monday again. I gotta find some ladies who want to come in on Monday about maybe early in the morning. Maybe make it Monday set to the interview for the time. Maybe we might do that because we gotta fill some space here and there. But like I said, I'd like to appreciate my man, Hannah Emperor Jen. We put in a lot of work, man. We're gonna miss you. Good luck to your future endeavors. We got him, man, KL. If he gets stuff right,
No,
I'm trying to break him in. I'm trying to break him in. Get him right. I'm trying to get him right.
yeah, yeah,
Get him right. We'll get you right, boy. Son,
yeah.
what? I gave him a so cold. What? I used to hate that we were doing that. What? But he's so cold. I love that Stone Cold. That Stone Cold. He's man.
Well, I gotta go, man. But peace, everybody.
All right, peace. See you. Shout out to man KL the Wanderer. Good luck to him in his upcoming interviews tomorrow. Check it out. Follow KL. Also, want to say shout out to man Balls Deep. Shout out to JW J Warrior 1000. Shout out to man Charlotte Miller came in the last minute. This is a man from peace out from J Warrior 1000. J Dub. Thank you, man. Appreciate y'all for coming through. Like I said again, if there's anything we can do for bodybuilders to succeed, reach out. If you are people who have the means of the ways, if you work in like these big companies and you're a fan of some of these competitors, you want to see this bodybuilding just grow to get more of a better placing, to be more taken seriously as a sport, not as a freak show, as a sport. Reach out to some of these people out there who have the means and ways to do it. But like I said, thank you for coming through. Like I said, I hope you'll have a happy upcoming, not too much of a 4th of July weekend because, it's falling on Tuesday, but great rest of the week, great rest of the day, and great rest of the evening. This is me always, George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Bodybuilding Talk. Don't like, subscribe. I am out.